Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. How are you? Oh my goodness. It is Tuesday. We are here at the Tuesday morning brew, and I have some coffee and some thoughts for you. Oh, we have a guest today too, of course. We always have a guest. And one that I've been waiting for a while to get on the show. So I'm very excited that Rob Multari is here. Um, But before we get started, I wanted to have some words, some insight about things that have been on my mind. And I got to tell you, I I'm live on Kickstarter right now, and what that does to a person is a whole roller coaster of emotions, and it's good, and it's self-doubt, and it's that imposter syndrome, and it's all of those things that hit you even when you're doing well. So I wanted to share some things with you this morning. I was up last night uh incredibly late and had a hard time turning the brain off. And so I was thinking, and it was one of those, like, when your brain decides to relive all of the mistakes and the things that you didn't do well, maybe last campaign, or didn't do well in your personal life. And it just plays through this like highlight reel of all the terrible things that have not really even terrible, but just like things that you've fallen down. Right. That was me last night. And I had a hard time turning it off. And I have a couple thoughts on that. One, uh, those are the times that define a person, because we all have thoughts like this, and we all, have struggles, and it's what you decide to do with that that defines you. So you could very easily take that stress and be like, it is too hard and I don't want to do this anymore, and quit. Or, and this is what I tend to do, and I think this really has to do with my martial arts background, is to, you know, think about all the things my brain is showing me, like, you messed up this and you could have done this better, and think, I can do this better and I will do this better, and focus on where we're going next. And the other thing that really helps me through these stressful times is to count my blessings. And so I wanted to take some time this morning to not only show off what I'm thankful for on this campaign, but the people that I'm thankful for, because ultimately, I would not be here without my village. We launched this Kickstarter on Friday. So Friday evening, we did the launch extravaganza. So there was myself and Ed Davis and Sarah White, and we had artists join, and we had people in the chat, and we had a fabulous time. My daughter was Karen, with the wig and everything, and it was hilarious. And I am blown away by, we are funded, and it's, like, we were funded on Saturday. It's incredible, the amount of love that is poured out towards this campaign, towards me, to everybody involved. So I would not be here without my team. And I want to make sure you guys know, I'm not an island. If it wasn't for Gilbert Perez and Matt Chambers and Rachel Bullock, this would not be Path of the Pale Rider. And Gilbert's talent is really going to shine this issue, you guys, because I've talked about issue 7 for a long time, but I don't think you guys realize there is very little dialogue in this issue. It is all action. And so Gilbert is that person that can show through action, show the emotion, the disgust, or the fear. And that's really how you connect to these characters, is by their emotion. So I might cry. Wow, I'm getting teary-eyed. So if it wasn't for Gilbert, you guys would not experience Path of the Pale Rider as it is. And so I'm so thankful that he is a part of this project, you guys. Funny story about Matt Chambers is that, we brought on a colorist on issue number 3. Marco DeFio had penciled, inked, and colored issue number 2, and it was beautiful, but it took a lot of time. And so in the effort to take some things off of his plate and to maybe make us a little more efficient, we brought in a colorist, and Matt was not that colorist. We had a person on board who was from overseas, and what I really think happened with that person is that um, there was a language barrier, and for whatever reason, it fell apart. And so when I talked to Matt, we were already almost done with issue number 3, and he was kind of under the 8 ball where it was like, how fast can you get this done so we can meet our deadline? And Matt just threw himself into the project. Not only did we meet our deadline, it's beautiful, and I have people tell me all the time how amazing the colors are in Path of the Pale Rider. So issue number 3, issue number 4, Matt was actually coloring issue 4 and issue 1 at the same time because issue 1 was originally released in black and white. And so Matt is definitely connected to this. He is passionate. He's in high demand. He often works multiple projects at a time. And so I fully appreciate, his commitment to this project. And of course, last but definitely not least is my editor, Rachel Bullock. And I don't know if people know this, but Rachel and I know each other from a long time ago. We're both originally from Michigan. She is still in Michigan. Our parents were friends. So we've known each other it seems like for forever. And Rachel was not originally our editor, but she was so excited about Path of the Pale Rider that I wanted to get her involved because I sometimes think that she can see the potential of Path more than I can. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, Rachel's like, you have an incredible idea, you have an incredible product, and she builds me back up. So I'm going to cry. So I want to say that I very much appreciate these people. And if it wasn't for this team, I wouldn't be here. And it says something about building up your village. You know what I mean? Putting people that are as passionate as you in your circle so that way you can all succeed. So I'd like to absolutely say thank you to these 3. I want to say thank you to all of the backers that show up on day 1 that understand that, getting funded quickly helps us. It's good visuals. But I'm blown away by the people that love this story and are here for the long run. I know I'm crying over here. I was totally allergies, Michael. I'm totally allergic. And it's not just the backers. I want to say thank you to the other creators and the podcasters who give me space to talk about my project and to connect with new people and a new audience because we have really cool stuff. But if I'm not out there talking about it, nobody knows we exist and we can't continue. So thank you to the podcasters. I'm live almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day when we're during campaign. I go on other podcasts. I like to promote other podcasters on this show. And I think that's what the community is about. I want to have special thanks to Christopher Brown, of course, who was one of my mentors when I first came in and I had 1,000 questions about how to run a Kickstarter. Christopher Brown is the one responsible for the hot sauce. Christopher Brown is the one responsible for all the Karen stuff. And he really just let me just bombard him with questions. You know what I mean? And so I'm thankful for people like that I can still bounce ideas off and brainstorm and think outside the box. And of course, I would not be here without Pops Van Zant and the madness. You guys, he saw my potential as a podcaster. He offered me this show. He's given me so many times, to come on podcasts and talk about cool things. And he's given me a ton of really good ideas that you guys in turn benefit from. So, you guys, I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful for everything here. And I'm going to cry about it on the show. And now I'm enough. So moving on and back to, I know, stop it. And Lou, thank you as well. I mean, like everybody that shows up to this show, I'm so much in my feels. at this point when it's like I'm blown away by the support. I'm blown away by our community. I'm just blown away. So I'm going to try and compose myself so that Rob can come in. Like, how do you follow that, Rob? I don't know. Oh, I'm so sorry about your 3-day migraine. Good Lord. That's no good. So, yeah, I mean, here is the link to the campaign. Again, if you guys haven't had a chance to go check it out, go check it out. I have a silly ass video like I always do. I fall down. I got secret hidden QR codes in the welcome video. I have more stuff coming. And so I know you guys have seen, like, I have some really cool stuff here, and I have stuff that has all been claimed. But there's stuff out there that you can still get, and I'm going to bring more exclusive stuff to the campaign probably later in the week or early next week. I haven't decided, but go check it out. Go see some things. And there's actually a spoiler on the screen right now that I'm trying not to show you guys because it's there. Go look at it. Go poke around. But back to the show. Rob Multari is here, you guys, and he's been patiently waiting while I cry my ass off on this show. Let's everybody give him a welcome. Oh, Rob, thank you for sitting through my
no, it's all in the feels. I mean, you have a lot of support, and I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I know you get it because you're on the same path. You have the same journey. You're much farther along than I am, so I'm sure that you have feelings about what you've been through as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I call my audience my wolf pack.
Yeah,
they come strong every campaign, even after the campaign, or where I'm like at Comic Cons. Like, I'll have people come up to me and be like, "Hey, I backed your campaign. I'm part of the wolf pack," and I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to finally put a face to the name,"
Yeah. The people at cons are fabulous too. And it's like you find your people wherever you go. And it's always great to bring them into the fold and into the pack. And I call my fans the riders. We're the riders on the path. So it's like I'm very fond of my riders, and I love to meet them in person. That's so cool. So
yeah, meeting everybody in person is like one of the best parts of doing this, because then talk. Not only can you when you're in person talking to people about your book, but they can actually talk back and say how much they liked it or they feel about it or whatever, and actually feel like a part of like the
of the whole journey, right? Being a part of it from the beginning. It's like some of my backers have been with me since issue 1, and it's like it's like years in the process that we're here, and it's like we've been on this path together. Pun intended. All right, so I'm gonna try and dry my face off. So you where are you at exactly? Are you in Pennsylvania?
Yes, I am north of Pittsburgh, south of Erie. So I could literally get to Cleveland, Erie, and Pittsburgh within an hour and a half.
Really?
So I'm like a perfect like trifecta for cons there.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are completely different markets for sure. So super interesting. So
right in the middle of, well, I guess not in the middle of the state, but on the very edge, like on the Ohio PA border.
and I forget that those are so close to each other. I'm originally from Michigan, so I'm like, oh, Michigan, Ohio, yeah.
Michigan's only like 2-3 hours, depending on where I go.
Yeah. I mean, why though? Just kidding.
I mean, I love going to Novi because what?
Novi?
Is it Novi or Novi?
It's Novi. I was right there. I was in Farmington and then Northville, and Novi's like right around the corner.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they have Motor City Con, and that's one of my favorite cons to go to. The first time I was ever there was before I started hustling books. It was my cousin and I went twice actually to enjoy it, and it was like the biggest con that I had gone to up in that point, and I was like blown away with how much cool stuff there was compared to the local ones here near like Pittsburgh and Erie. But it was great. And then when I got I've been there 3 times as a creator, so, and each time just great. The reception's always been great. They love their comics there.
What's this one? They have free tables in Albany at Dead Man Hands Expo in October. Albany, New York, right?
I did not see that. However, October, at those times I will be in Disneyland with the fam.
Oh,
actually Disney World. I'm going to Orlando, not California.
In October, that should be a good time of year, man.
It is, and I love how they decorate for Halloween there.
Yes,
like, so cool. Like, so we were there 3 years ago. On my daughter's 5th birthday. So her birthday is the 27th, and so we went for her 5th birthday. And we went 2 days to Magic Kingdom, and one was right before Halloween, and one was just after, like in November. And they like immediately switched over the decorations from like Halloween to Christmas. And I was like, oh, these Christmas decorations are just Christmas, whatever. But the Halloween ones were so cool.
I hate that Christmas starts on November 1st. I really do. I
hate when they like take over, like it's like in the middle of like September and October. I'm like, hey, it's not Halloween's not over yet.
Yeah. But I used to work retail. I used to work at a jewelry store in a mall. And so Christmas was always the bane of my existence because we would have our store Christmas music. There would be the mall Christmas music. And because where we were located, we were central to like the I don't know, it's like the crossroads of, so that's where the Santa stand was.
Oh, so you had like
yes,
noise everywhere.
3 kinds of Christmas music playing at the same time. And so even like now when my husband's like, let's turn on Christmas music. And I'm like, let's not click.
All the noise.
Yeah, I was like, I can handle it for like the week of Christmas. Like I'll get in the mood when I'm baking Christmas cookies and stuff, but I can't do it in November. Like, please don't make me.
Yeah, if it's not after Thanksgiving, don't start.
Yeah. And my like Christmas is his favorite, so it's like, let's go tree shopping, and I'm like, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Can we wait until after Thanksgiving, please? I can't wait to see what you're working on, Lou. I love Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year because there's no pressure to give gifts. It's like you can dress up as whatever you want. You can go to parties. You can go with the kids trick-or-treating. Mostly it's because I want to scare the living shit out of the kids in my neighborhood. But my kids aren't quite old enough for that yet. So I haven't gotten there yet. But
so when they're old enough, they can help.
Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan. I think like getting them in on the gig will help. But we have those drains here in Texas that are like from the movie It, where you see the clown in the drain. Those are the type of drains we have. We have one right in front of our house.
Oh, nice.
So this year there will be a red balloon coming out of the drain. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but we'll see. And some kid's gonna pop it, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
But it would just be funny to
or
do
some
it.
adult like on their way of running away from it, they'll like throw something at it.
Yeah. And I was even thinking like somehow if I could get like a basketball or some kind of ball and put the Pennywise mask on it and put it in there, so people look like, oh, it's a balloon, it's not like, you know, like we'll see if we can accomplish that.
That's awesome.
We'll try. So off of that little tangent, sometimes on this show we can be some raccoons and see shiny things and go off for some little zombie munchkins. I don't know. They're not into it like I am. They want to be cute things. Like that's how we got the Pokemon suit. Is they wanted to be Pikachu. So we were a family of Pikachus, and the hubs was what's the guy's name? Ash.
Yeah, I think so.
And then he would
never really got into the Pokemon. And, yeah, my boys did for like a minute, but like it didn't last long enough. And my daughter, so like her name is Jovi.
Yeah,
I call her Joe for short sometimes.
Yeah, that's cute.
And like she hates like, so like I come up with like random nicknames, and I think I get that from my grandma. She used to have a nickname for everybody in our family. So like so occasionally I'll make my daughter mad by calling her Joe John from Pokemon.
And she's like, stop it.
Yeah, she's like, Dad.
Stop it. Noah. Because that's what they sound like. How old is your daughter?
She will be 8 this year.
Oh yeah, so she totally sounds like that.
Yeah.
My 8-year-old sounds like that too. She's the one that's like, stop it. You say it back to her, she's like, Noah. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I sing little songs that like pick on her.
Fun times. So I always start the show with your origin story. which I have not heard.
Really?
So Rob, I mean, like people are probably familiar with you. They've seen your face. You've been around. I'm familiar with you and I've seen your face, but I would love to know what makes Rob tick, how it all started. Were you reading stuff as a kid? Did you get into comics like me as an adult? And ultimately, like what influences you and what pushed you to just pull the trigger and make comics, because it's different for everybody and it's a lot. Oh, I'm sorry. This is hilarious.
Nice.
And like, what? Someone stopped and put a get well balloon on it.
Nice.
That's funny. I don't know. I'm dark. Anyway, please take us back to the days of young Rob and how it all started.
Oh, this is young too, because this goes back to the days of learning to read.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I, believe it or not, I'm dyslexic and have an attention deficit disorder. So I was one of the early ones diagnosed with all this back in the day when this was still kind of like a new thing.
Yeah.
So like, went through the whole rigmarole of testing and all that BS. But like, finally it was one of those things my mom like kind of gave me incentive to try harder by say if I did better in school. So this was like first, second grade time. And if I would have tried harder, brought my grades up, I would get 3 comic books a week and 30 cents. Like that, but, back then, like, we're talking like late 80s, so that's like, for like, a second grader, like that's change, man. I collect that.
Awesome. Put it in the bank. Right. Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
Mom, can I go
an X-Men figure?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's awesome.
So like, and I've, back when VHS was still a thing, we were always going to the movie rental place, which was still a thing.
Right. Blockbuster. Yeah. That was the highlight of the week.
Right. So we'd go, and I would get like, all the old Marvel cartoons, like like basically were like the comics that they would like move their mouths, or like then the 80s ones that were much better.
They're so bad.
Yeah. But I loved them. I loved watching them. So, and like obviously Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Transformers, I was really big into like all the 80s.
He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man.
Yeah, man.
She-Ra, all them. So, I obviously like the superhero-esque thing was always like ingrained in me, and my mom was like, oh, well, comic books will,
so what comic books was she getting you?
So to start off, it all kind of went back to like the idea popped when one of my birthdays, I had gotten a Batman, like it was like the Untold Legends of Batman or something like that. They had like, it was a 3-book collection that each had a cassette tape. The actors, like they actually had actors doing the voices of the bubbles, right?
Yeah.
So like that was something that she was like, oh, well, he can listen to that, figure it out, some of the words, and then like that kind of sparked the idea. Oh, well, these are digestible chunks that he can, read or figure out.
Yeah.
Context, right? Obviously, sometimes the words were too big, but when asked what that meant, that helped. So
yeah, but that helps with vocabulary. Like as a kid, if you're not exposed to that, you don't build the vocabulary. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And back then they were geared more towards kids than they are now.
Yes.
So that was like the first intro and helped give my mom the idea. And then it like she had, it was started off with like some of the Iron Mans, and then like the Gray Hulk, which I was like, well, this isn't Hulk, he's green, So that kind of went away. And then the Spider-Man was a couple of the their first ones, because I had recognized Spider-Man, watched the cartoons and all that. And then I remember renting the X-Men pilot, the Pride of the X-Men.
Yes,
I watched that and I kept seeing the Marvel logo. And I was like, so like that's not on Batman, obviously, because like Batman was another one that I was really big into, because that was when the Michael Keaton movies were coming out and all that. So like obviously that, and Batman and Robin guest starred on Scooby-Doo, so I knew.
I remember Batman. That they used to have everybody on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
My favorite was the Harlem Globetrotters, though. Their episodes were the best.
I mean, they even had Mama Cass.
Yeah, they did. They're so funny.
And she owned an ice cream factory.
It's so random.
I know. Well, so like that's kind of like where that all went. So I was like, oh, the Marvel logo, and I saw it on the X-Men, and I saw it on my Hulk and Spider-Man and Iron Man comics, and I was like, oh, okay, so they have comics too. They have the X-Men and Wolverine. Like watching Wolverine like on that, even though like they gave him this weird Australian accent, like so I literally thought he was Australian until I read he was Canadian, and I'm like, what the.
Why?
Even in my head, like as a kid, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear or not.
You're fine. You can swear on this show. Maybe not as a child, but here you can swear.
Yeah, but even then I'm like, what is this? I was so like my brain just went, that's not what?
Yeah. It's not.
But yeah, but like Wolverine still like, you know, to this day is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So like I started getting Wolverine comics, X-Men comics. Then I fell in love with the X-Men family. Like so all of those. And Chris Claremont was like my favorite writer. And at this time he was basically the X-Men writer.
Yeah.
You know, like then he did Excalibur, he did you know, all kinds of different X titles. So like I followed him around. Yeah, so I mean, and I really loved when he would write Wolfsbane or Moira Taggart because of the Scottish accents that he would write for.
Okay, I was like, where is it going to show up, guys? Because I'm waiting, and here it is. This is okay. This is influence right here.
Yes, influence. Yes. So my Scottish lass behind me actually is highly inspired by what I would love Wolfsbane to have been.
Gotcha.
Whereas like she was always this very meek and timid, you know, wolf girl. She kind of like I actually later on in like so I always wanted to like write stories or do stuff. I started doing X-Men fan fiction, and I wanted to make my own X team. So I did, and there was also I kind of like did the gathering of the team story. I even did like the one character who would eventually become Nightwolf. Actually was like the first one that like Professor X, you know, scooped up in this story and helped to get Wolverine's adamantium back. So this was between the period where Magneto rips it out and Apocalypse puts it back in. So like I came up with my own way to do it, you know, because I was like, you know, I was always like, look, I want badass Wolverine back. I don't want this broken claws every 5 minutes Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to say that's how I felt when we remember the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series that they did on Disney Plus. Yeah. And it was like, here's Obi-Wan, but he's not going to be a Jedi and he's not going to use his powers. And I was like, why are we watching then?
Yeah,
I was
exactly. I'm like, I don't want to see post-traumatic. I want to see actual.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, bring back the adamantium so we can get some action here because I don't want it.
So that was like the first jump in. But so like the next part of that, like, you know, I kind of did a time jump. So I did like the initial collection of people, and then I did a time jump because I was inspired by like the Extinction Agenda, which was one of my favorite crossovers for the X titles. And I wanted to kind of like go back to Genosha and visit that like whole thing. And so like I had somehow I don't know, like I shipped you know, my character that I made with Wolfsbane. And so I like kind of put them kind of like together in a way, and like that story kind of revolved around them, you know, a bit. But like, so again, this character who would become Nightwolf and this character who was inspiring Snowpaw, you know, obviously like so I had sent all these scripts into Marvel. I think I was 14 at the time.
See, funny you should say that, Chris. Marvel letters quietly watching and taking notes. Yeah, exactly. It was like Rob's like, I already sent it all in, man.
Yeah, they already. Yeah, that stuff's already like they already rejected me. But I got the kindest rejection letter I could have ever hoped for because I've heard like horror tales of people getting cease and desist orders.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, where I had this kind letter, you know, course, I sent it to Stan Lee because who else would you send it to, right?
Exactly.
And then like so I got it back from some other rando who I never heard of, but was like, oh, Stan loves to hear from his fans, and we love to see, the stories that you're sending in. But we already have our storylines all planned out. These don't fit in, but we encourage you to keep up the great work.
Yeah.
For a 14-year-old, that lit a fire under my butt.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I ended up just kind of like scrapping a lot of that, obviously, because I couldn't do it because it's all X-Men.
Right.
But I kind of picked my original characters up and started doing my own thing. So like I actually have I've been kind of sitting on it for a long time, which I don't know if I'll ever do anything with. But I did make a quick intro into like Nightwolf issue 2. There's kind of like a little snippet, but they're kind of like my version of the X-Men called Gene Storm. Which I would love to get into sometime. But so I took a lot of my characters and kind of reworked them there. I plucked out that character who became Nightwolf, put him on his own for the first 12 issues. And then I think eventually I was going to work him into the Gene Storm situation, kind of like how Wolverine came into the X-Men later, but the X-Men existed prior, kind of like that. But
yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do that.
But that's so cool. I love I think that's the best kind of marketing that you can do as a creator. And I mean, Disney was king at that until it became very obvious what they were doing. And then it was overkill.
Right.
Like the Mandalorian series, like season 2 or 3 became these are all the new characters we're introducing in their spin-offs. Right. And it was more about the side characters than it was about,
right.
The main Mandalorian guy was named Din Djarin or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that it's overkill, but it's like when you bring a character in and you let them move around the world that people are familiar with, that's genius to me.
I always loved that too, because that was part of with the crossovers, that they did, and again they overdid it in the 2000s, and 2010s, and now, but in the 90s when they were doing all those crossovers in the 80s, that was brilliant, and the way they did it was so much better. Plus, there was a case I remember reading one, I think it was an X-Men book where there was a shock felt around the world. I think it was Magneto did something and it just repulsed. And I remember hitting random X-Men who haven't been in the book for decades, like Sunfire and a bunch of others. It just happened to randomly hit everybody in the world. And that hit me too. And so in issue 2 of Nightwolf, I have my other titles, not just the Gene Storm one, but the ones I actually do plan on really hitting that are on my website is Crimson Dawn, Redemption, and Achilles. Or was it Achilles? No, I changed
Redemption, you say?
But yeah, Arcane. But yeah, so there's those 3 titles, those characters are actually in, issue 2, because there's something that happens that like Nightwolf's first transformation kind of triggers that kind of a similar effect. That kind of just
effect, and everybody's like, "What was that?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. Just to kind of sprinkle them in, make it feel like they're in the same existing world.
But I love that, and readers love that too, because then it's they're so ingrained in the story. They're give me more, give me a different perspective, because and that's something that I have always tried to do as well. It's we're in Jude St. Clair's story. It's being told from his point of view, but wouldn't you love to know how Dwayne Fink got to Santa Claus? That lovable idiot that will tell you all sorts of things, but you don't know if it's true or not because he's drunk. Wouldn't you like to know where he came from? Right. So it's just fun to do other stuff so that people can experience more of the world, because that's what they want. They will ultimately, they just want to disappear into that world and, forget reality for a little bit.
Escapism is real.
Especially today, right? We're there. We're we don't want to think about all the things that are currently going on. Just give me werewolves and undead people.
And I think too, that's why when people put too much reality into a book, it doesn't do as well, because nobody wants reality. We're not reading comics because we want to read what happens today. I want to see what happens to my characters in this world that you know what I mean? That stuff isn't real.
I gotta say though, in my own defense, because I wrote my entire first arc back in 2018 before COVID and before a lot of the turmoil that we're going through. And a lot of the stuff that I wrote into my story happened, is still happening. And that's not my fault. Like, I don't want to get blamed, but people have blamed me for COVID and I didn't do it. Like, it's not, I didn't, like, there's no way I could have known. So I'm just saying,
some
other
story writer may not.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me, I swear. But yeah, that's why I always remind people when they're like, wow, when did you create this? I'm like, 2018. Okay. I'm like, so when you read issue 3 and you're living your flashbacks of COVID, it's not my fault.
Yeah. Well, that's what like I like have to say, like, because it's very reminiscent. Like, at least Nightwolf and Snowpaw have a lot of similarities to like Werewolf the Apocalypse, which is like a game. It's like kind of like a D&D, but with werewolves and vampires.
Gotcha.
Well, not so much vampires. They have their own. I think that's Vampire the Masquerade, but they're in the same world.
Yeah.
But I actually had come up with the style, the look of these, the type of werewolves and their, like, you know, use of weapons and with silver, because obviously that makes sense. Prior to my knowledge of Werewolf the Apocalypse, if anything, Werewolf the Apocalypse just was like, that it was more it was like even more inspiration after the fact, because I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to put out. Like, I love this. I'm like, can I work for them?
Right. I was like, can we be friends? I think we just
do they have comic books or just game books?
Yeah, I mean, can we do both?
Yes. So that's kind of like, for me, I was like, I would love to be able to write for the IP. But
gosh, can you imagine if, and see, I've heard this too, where it's like, could your fans do like a homebrew where they could do a D&D campaign in your world?
Oh, I'm sure they could.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Matter of fact, Travis Gibb and I have actually talked about that.
Have you? Yeah.
He's like, if you ever want to run one, I'm like,
gosh, I wouldn't even know where to start. But it's been one of those things where people like, can we play Path? And I was like, I would love to, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Travis. He does know what he's doing. So he could be, I guess, would be the DM, kind of like the Dragon Master.
Yeah. But it's like, but I need to do that because I know my world inside and out. So it's like, plus I really want to torment the players. That's a personal thing. Oh yes, I always forget to do this. This is my YouTube channel. Could you please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, everybody? Because I'm terrible at promoting my own YouTube channel. So thank you. Yeah, I know. I was like, Chris could totally do it. Chris understands my world pretty well. But still, I want to be the one that kind of like terrorizes the people because I think it's
well, fun. Of course, you provide the story layout. You know?
Yeah, where I'm like, oh, you wake up in a road and guess what? Big James is there. Let's start the story. Like, do you have weapons? No. Like, good luck.
Find something.
Yeah, like, you better run. One of you will die. Maybe it'll be this NPC that nobody cares about, but run. So werewolves. So it came about as inspiration from a character, but you really dove into the world of werewolves. Are you versed in the genre and history of werewolves and how, like, other movies? And
oh, of course I am.
I would say yeah, but I always have to ask. So what is your favorite werewolf movie, book? Where do you live?
So I guess it depends on the time of, like, so I like different things for different reasons, and different time periods. Like for me, so like I was in college when like Underworld came out. I also the Van Helsing movie. So those were like, and this was well after, like, I'm already in the writing phases for this, so like these are kind of like later on likes. But I love, it's just like I love that like werewolves were getting attention. So those like the hit, home for me. I love those. I also enjoy like the classics. Obviously like The Howling. And,
The Howling.
And then
Werewolf in Paris.
Werewolf in London. Werewolf in Paris. I love both of them. I know some people are like, oh, I hate the second one, but for me, I was growing up. So I was born in the 80s, grew up through the 90s, and so Werewolf in Paris actually was in the theater when I was like in my teens.
Yeah.
So for me, I enjoyed it. And but I think like a lot, what's hilarious is like a lot of my early introduction to werewolves was like Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, where Shaggy becomes the werewolf. And then like when they go to Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, there's they have all the different like kids of like Dracula, the Werewolf Man, like in the school that they're teaching, right? So like I know it's very childish, but like again, child growing up in the 80s watching this kind of stuff, so it was just like I felt like it was normal, to kind of gravitate towards these like Halloween characters. And for me, I always, for whatever reason, gravitated towards the werewolves. And
hello, Chad.
That's just jelly.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad, for gracing us with your presence.
And like my family, like we always grew up. I had like I had 3 Labradors at one point. Like so, dogs were always like, one of my favorite animals, and then wolves. I just love that like their sleek look to them. Like give me a good old fashioned gray wolf or a husky. I love those. I think that's my favorite like look for like a dog or a wolf.
Thank you for that. Thank you for derailing our conversation.
Are you sure you're not drinking a jelly donut beer? Because that sounds like something you would drink.
I've had bacon flavored beer. It was gross.
Yeah, bacon flavored beer. I've had that. It was not something that I enjoyed.
No.
I like them separate.
So are you camp scary werewolf? Are you camp more like seeing the human side of the werewolf, like as an affliction that they deal with? Or do you have one foot into the romance werewolf category too?
I mean, so I like them all in general. I think for me, it's more of the aesthetic. I don't like the werewolf, like the wolf man who looks like a hairy dude with like a button nose. Like, I think that's the lamest.
You don't want to go back to the classic era?
I mean, I give them props for doing it. Like, I feel like now, when they redo it now, it's like, really? You have all these effects. You could do it so much better. Like
that would be like me putting like felt on. Okay, kids, don't move. I'm going to glue this to your face. Let's go run around outside.
Right, yeah. But I mean, that's for me. Like I said, I have my particular aesthetic. So like that's kind of like why I'm like I'm like there's no comic book that has that aesthetic. I want that, so I did it. Like there was no like it's always about the curse. So I didn't want to just do that. So in my world, they're born, and this particular breed is kind of like an outcast, and their gene is recessive, so not everybody in the lineage becomes a werewolf, but they are like a carrier of it. So it's kind of like one of those like randomized things that happens, and you like the supernaturals can kind of tell when it's like coming, like the coming of age, if you will. That's kind of like in the first issue of Nightwolf, how the Dark Covenant, which is my evil collection of supernatural.
All right. Wait. Go back. Start at the beginning of your series. Give us an overview, like give us the elevator pitch, all that good stuff. So
I guess we are getting into the weeds.
I was like, but it's good. It's good. Like I like, because I want to get into the story, and because I'm gonna have questions. So what, Chad? Felt on my face and the what? Okay, thank you. What's this? Hey, Jim, I'm 100% pro werewolf. I just want that to be known. Thank you. You're in the right place right now. This is your guy.
Fair enough. So well, let me do the pitch then.
Yeah.
All right. So Nightwolf is a story about a young man who finds out that he's born a werewolf, gets thrown into a supernatural war against demons, witches, vampires, other werewolves, and which is the Dark Covenant, and his girlfriend gets kidnapped by the Dark Covenant because the Lord Vampire, who is kind of like the head of this region's Dark Covenant, recognizes her as the re-embodiment of his deceased lover from back in the
hell.
So basically a whole lot of chasing goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting too much into the details, but
right.
God, and Snowpaw comes in and helps Nightwolf learn how to be a werewolf. So
gotcha.
That's where
so he can go rescue his lady from the creepy old guy.
Yes, exactly. And so, but then like it also then gets weird because then Snowpaw kind of has feelings for Nightwolf, and because they're the same breed and all that fun stuff. So like there's this weird quadratical love, love square.
Dynamic. It's a dynamic relationship.
So it gets weird. It gets weird. Matter of fact,
call it weird. It's complicated.
Yeah, it gets very complicated. Yeah. Like matter of fact, issue 10 just came out, and I'm fulfilling that Kickstarter. And like this was one of the covers, and like Snowpaw done landed a kiss on him.
Oh no! Oh, come back!
Oh! Yes, stupid screen.
This is why I had to get rid of my screen.
Well, you don't want to see behind my office little box.
Trust me, this is a upgrade to where I was in my kids' room with her dresser full of just kitsch covered in kids stuff. So I was like, man, but this is better. But I feel you, like stupid screen. So I'm gonna put it back up. Let's try it again.
Let's try it again. All right, let's try it again. Maybe if I hide back here with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, she did it.
Oh yeah, she done.
I gotta say he's reciprocating in that picture. He's got
which is funny because so like throughout this whole series, like Lord Malice, the vampire, has been using his witch covenant to kind of emotionally manipulate her, like through dreams and stuff, and it wasn't quite working until like.
Hey, Queen.
So they've been kind of like watching this whole unfold through like a bubbling cauldron.
Yeah.
And like finally, like Lord Malice was using his ex-girlfriends to try and do that, but like the girlfriend was like, those hoes had their chance, right? But finally, like when this new person like lays lips on him, she's like, what, the truck? And then like that magic that they were trying to emotionally manipulate her, she saw him pushing back, even though he was like, whoa.
I'm laughing like we just got a whole new crew like come into the brew, like you know what I mean, like you get the people that show up in the beginning and the middle and then the end. So here's your middle people, like here's Quentin, like sup, and then it's like JD, I think Laurie sold her piano to fund her hot sauce company, and then Sarah, yes, joined in time for side boob. So I love this show. Yeah, that pencil work is awesome. Who is the artist on that?
So that's Chris Williams.
Yeah, okay.
He is one of my regulars. I use him as a variant cover very often, and I buy the art. So this one's actually already been sold during the campaign.
Oh man!
But usually, oh Tom,
stop it, Tom.
Go walk around your lake.
Tom's been on the show so many times, like he has nothing to talk about.
I love Tom. He has great conversations, and you can't get a word in edgewise with him.
I know. I was harassing Tom yesterday because he has his podcast on Mondays with Alice and Lair, and they talk about Oz. And he had like a mechanical malfunction, and he like left the show, and poor Allison was like,
oh no,
blink, and like went to a black screen, and I was like, what just happened? So I had to give him some crap. He was like, you bailed, and I was like, yeah, now I see how it is. That's it. Yep. And Tom's the reason why I couldn't book until February. Sorry, we have a romantic square, a romantic rhombus, a rhombance. See, this is why I love Lou. She comes up with the cool things.
Very nice. Very cool.
Okay, so more questions about the story. So you have different kind of species of werewolf. Is there a hierarchy between them?
So like there is like the different breeds around the world, kind of like some of like the wolf breeds, obviously. They're wherever they're. So like there's like you're kind of like a in the United States you have your Native American-esque style werewolves, and then you have like the different in Ireland you have like the Gaelic wolves and stuff like that. So like they each have their own different thing, and I do kind of like talk about that a little bit in issue 4. Whereas like the again this particular breed like was approached during the time where like it kind of became more biblical. This is why they're an outcast, because like the werewolf breeds all worship like pagan deities, which I call them mythic celestials. So like angels, demons, mythic gods are all celestials. They're and so, but they came, and they were like impersonating gods. So they became like the Norse gods, the Roman gods, the Greek gods. Like they're the same, just these celestials, showing themselves as to be worshipped. And then so kind of basically the kind of battle between heaven and hell kind of spilled over into recruiting, this very benevolent werewolf and very evil werewolf, and these two basically ended up fighting each other to the death, but their souls continued fighting through eternity. And then this breed, whenever like that recessive gene triggers, becomes like the reincarnation of one or the other. So like every like 100 years or so, you'll have like a good werewolf, a bad werewolf in this particular breed that serves either the side of good or the the Dark Covenant or whatever. And so Nightwolf is actually kind of like the modern day, like there's a gray line between good and evil, right? Morality isn't exactly black and white anymore. So he has become this kind of like in between that kind of threw a wrench in the whole thing. And we're kind of exploring that a little bit, because he technically isn't bad, but he isn't good. He's the only reason he's even fighting is for selfish intent to like save his girlfriend. He could care less really, about good and evil.
So what I mean? Relatable then, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, this was one of my questions. You just beat me to it, Quentin. Are there other types of animals that can transform?
Yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, there is a werelion in my Snowpaw series.
Really?
There is.
All right, I'm gonna switch screens here. So,
and a werefox too. He's a werelion came in issue 1, and the werefox came in issue 3.
Okay, so I was like, "Where's the were tiger?" Do
we have were alpacas? Yes, there are weres. So like, again, the kind of like all. I have a whole genealogy built out. If you go to my about page on lonewolfcomics.com, you can kind of read more about the mythology and like the characters and types.
That's cool.
But the Celestials kind of are the start of a lot of it. Their kids are kind of like demigods, and then kind of like had their kids, and then like it just became like a whole like genealogy of how my characters got their abilities.
That's cool though, and I love it when it's like you've put in the time, and now you have stuff like the character book. You know what I mean? We're like, this is Snowpaw, this is her. But I was looking, of course, I go sneak around on everybody's social media. It's my job. But you were like, this is Snowpaw. This is where she's at. These are her powers. This is, her height, her weight when she's human versus werewolf, and her deity powers and stuff like that. And I was like, that's awesome. Where it's like that's in my bucket list someday to be like, this is Jude St. Clair, this is his stats, like this is Dwayne Fink, this is his stats, this is
that's the kind of stuff that I was doing before I sent the fan fiction. Like I was making the characters, like I was doing my crude drawings, and then I had the stats, like, so I was basically inspired by like the Marvel cards, like the collector cards. So that's essentially how I laid everything out. And now I can use those.
Rob. My business cards are that X-Men trading card that used to have like the stats on the back. Yeah, those are my business cards. So sometimes people get it, and some people are like, I don't get it, and I'm like, it's sorry, it's an inside joke.
So each campaign, I actually, one of the milestones that unlock is a new trading card with a different character and their stats.
Cool.
Having those already done really helps move that along.
Yeah, absolutely. Where it's just like, let me go in the vault and see which one is next, right? So this is, so everybody, I wanted to show you because I've talked about, Rob being on the journey, but here you can see, I always like clicking on the creator page because not only can you see like about them, like where they're from, they give you that little bio. If it'll actually do it, I guess not. Created this, I mean, how many projects? 16.
Well, that's not including the Wolfpack Pups one. That's actually on so I think I have 3 of those as well. 4, 3. Yeah,
That's a
3.
lot.
Yeah.
And that's not just things that he's created and sat on. That's Kickstarters that have been run, you guys, and fulfilled. So this to me is incredible when you can kind of scroll through and look at the footprint of everybody. This is great. So Rob's put in his time here. When was when you were first published? What year? Do you know?
2017.
Yeah.
So
you've been around the block.
I did launch I had a launch project in 2016 that failed. That's probably why you could see that there's an issues 1 through 3 and an issues 1 through 3 repeated.
I did not notice.
Yeah. So the one was, so 2016, I had 5 pages done. I had cover and I had all the character designs, and I was like, okay, let's launch this, right? We're going to kickstart the series legit. And of course, not knowing what I was doing and, figuring I needed 20 grand to put the first 3 issues out. Cause my original intent was to do it monthly. God. Right. Yeah. Now it's ridiculous. But at the time I'm like, okay, well, that's what they do in the comic shops. You put your book out monthly, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so that was my intent was to put out monthly. And so I figured if I had the first 3 in the hole, then while I'm working on the next ones, those can go out there monthly and then be prepared. Well, live and you learn. So I managed to raise over $5,000 with 74 backers. But of course, as I set my goal so high, it didn't fly. So it took me a minute to kind of pick myself up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do freelance web design jobs and graphic design jobs. And then I'm going to finish the book on my own and print it. So it took from May of 2016 to September 2017 to finally have the book in hand.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I went to a Comic-Con, which one of my usuals that I would go to for fun was having one in December that year. My first Comic-Con, I took 100 books with me and sold 96 of them.
Wow. That's incredible.
Thank you. So that's basically, I was like, okay. So I called my wife. I'm like, all right, we need to get issue 2.
Yeah.
So we dipped into my savings and did a few more freelance work, got issue 2 out, started my trail of Comic-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
And finally it came to a point where I was like, all right, well, I can't keep dipping into my savings for issue 3. So that's when I came back in October of 2019 and did issues 1 through 3. And basically I was like, all right, I built my audience at these cons and they were asking for issue 3. So here we go.
Yeah. 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 And it's, I don't know. Everybody's journey is different, where we start and the things we fall down at. And again, that's what I was saying in the beginning. It's like, you can let that define you and be like, this is too hard, I quit. Or you can be like, this is how I can do better next time. And just keep moving forward. So,
yeah. I was stubborn. I didn't want to quit. I knew I had something. and obviously going to that Comic-Con proved it.
Mm-hmm.
Had I sat there and only sold 4 or 5
4 books. Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, maybe I don't have something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But people when they talk to you is one thing where it's like, they can feel the passion, they can understand the project and they can pick up your excitement. But on top of that, when they come back, because you might be able to sell them the first one, and if the book sucks, then they're done. You know what I mean? But if they're coming back, like, where's the next one? Where's the next one? When's the next one drop?
Oh, I would have people come back during the con and say, when's the next one coming out? And and that's not just that one. It happens almost every con. Somebody sat down and read the book while they were still there and was like, when's the next one? Or, hey, I need to, I only picked up 1. Let me get the next few.
Yeah.
That's happened several times.
Yeah, that's such an awesome. Usually the response I get is, how dare you give me the next one? I'm like, okay.
Right. Yeah. Matter of fact, when I just had 1 and 2 ends on a kick or on a big cliffhanger. Well, 1 does too, but the second one's the biggest cliffhanger at that point. And one guy was like, you son of a bitch.
Exactly.
Because he knew that I only had the 2 at the time.
Yeah, and he's like, I gotta wait how long for the next one? And that's why I'm always like, I'm so excited for the people that pick up the whole catch-up tier on the campaigns, where I'm just like, oh, you're in for such a treat. Like, you get to binge read 1 through 7. That's amazing. Like, I'm kind of jealous, actually. Where it's like, but again, it's like, I so love everybody that has come along for the journey and waited the 6 months or whatever it is between launches that I do as well. And it's like, I love them all. But I just want to show off, like, this is a previous campaign so people can see, the depths that you go through on your campaigns. And I gotta say, I've taken notes from your campaigns. I don't go halfway either. So people can take a look and see, what it's going to look like when you launch the next one.
Yeah. Which is with Snowpaw, that's the next one. This was Nightwolf 10. And Carlos is just starting on the art for issue 11, which is fun because like he and I have been on this long journey together, and there's 12 issues in this story arc.
Yeah.
I plan on continuing, but it starts a new story arc. So like we're getting to the very end of this, long running situation.
That's great though. I'm so excited.
It'll feel good to actually have something complete. Snowpaw was a shorter 4-issue story arc. So it's weird because like they're both almost like finishing around the same time.
That's funny. But I mean, like, that's sometimes just how it works out, where you're like, you start this one a while ago and it's like, because I personally cannot imagine running 2 series at the same time right now, where I'm at with Path and my home life with my kids and like all the extra stuff that I do. And I make a ton of merch and throw in the con season on top of that. And it's like, I couldn't run 2 stories, like, I'm impressed with like the John Westhoffs, the Travis Gibbs, and like yourself that run multiple projects through the year. And it's like, I don't know how you do that. And then there's Carissa Grant that blows us all the way. And she's just like, I'm live again. And I'm like, I don't know how you do
I know, right? Yeah. Like her artists are so fast. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, jelly.
Well, and I dress her covers. And so like when she put out Redemption issue 14, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like we did that like months ago. And I'm like, that's such a great cover.
It's crazy because like she's like, all right, everything's paid for and already printed before I go live. I'm like, you are insane.
Yeah, where she's like, she's bagging and boarding, just waiting for, Kickstarter to end. And if it's like, you backed me last time and your credit card went through, I've already shipped your stuff. And I'm like, you're nuts.
Right.
So, but she's so good at what she does. And so it's like, stay in your lane, let her do her thing. I was like, I'm trying to
not having kids at home.
I mean, that helps. Yeah. Like when my kids are home for the summertime, they're knocking on the door. They're out. Like I purposely planned it so they're not home on Tuesdays.
Oh, nice.
When I have my show, like they're out either at my in-laws' house. They go to grandma's. The older one has archery camp, so she's been going to archery camp. But it's like, you guys got to go because they're like fighting or they're eating stuff loud at the table, and then they're knocking on the door. Are you live? Like, yeah, I'm live right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 2 boys. So I have I'm divorced and remarried. My 2 boys are to my previous marriage, and on Tuesdays they're always at their mom's, and they come back either Tuesday night or Wednesday. So we rotate like 3 and 4 or whatever, like 4 or 3 4 4 3, kind of reverse it. So they're usually never here on Tuesday during the day. And then so I go live, Tuesday nights, with JD.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, she actually is here, but she's downstairs watching TV. I was like, all right, what do you want me to put on for you so you'll leave me alone?
I fall to that too, where I'm just like, especially Kickstarter season when I'm live so often, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put on a movie on for you. Hey.
Play with your toys. Don't come.
Right.
I'm actually shocked because it's almost lunchtime. I'm surprised she hasn't come up and be like, I'm hungry.
It still could happen. We got a little more of the show to go.
I know. Yeah. I guarantee before the end of this, she's going to pop up and be like, it's lunchtime.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Look at this guy. Is this what is he?
So right there, that's a scene in issue 2 where one of the twin witches who kind of been sent to spy on Rodney Marcelli, who is Nightwolf. goes to the homecoming dance, and one of the teachers kind of like breaks up a little bit of a argument between them, and one of the witches turns him into a demon.
I'm just laughing because Lou Pons put a comment. Where is it? A wereworm? And I was like, this kind of looks like that. I was like, if like a centipede or some weird insect.
I mean, so this isn't Carlos doing the art here. Carlos actually took a bit of a hiatus. He did the first 6 pages and the cover and all the character designs, and then he was like, I got another job, a real job, for real boys. And then I was like, oh, okay. So I found somebody else to take over for him. So this is Oscar from Bakuman Studios.
Yeah.
He's doing this. So when Oscar and I were going through what we wanted the demon to look like, I was like, dude, I want him to be as ugly and whatever and horrific as possible. Like, I don't want to be like typical demon looking thing with like, this guy with like satyr legs and horns,
Yeah.
So I wanted this to be butt ugly and painful.
Mission accomplished.
So that's kind of like how this page came about.
It's like, just add some random spattering of eyes.
Yeah.
God, so scary. Like, ew. Yeah. And Sarah, I was on Sarah's podcast last night and we were talking about 28 Years Later. Did you see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the zombies that eat the worms. Sarah's like, no more worms, please. Ooh, look who comes to save the day.
Yeah, so this is now in issue 3. And this is when the very first legit appearance. Like, she kind of makes one of those like dream appearances in issue 1, kind of like as a foreshadowing, if you will. But like, this is like the legit first appearance of Snowpaw coming in, and he's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah. What the?
Yeah, he's just like, what the F is going on here?
Yeah. I like that she still wears clothes.
That's the other thing. Like, I remember like doing the character designs with Carlos way back in the day, and like when he drew Nightwolf the first time, he had a furry loincloth. Like, it was just like this long fur hanging over his junk, and I'm like, ew, no.
Well,
I'm like, don't do that.
Hear me out. Like, now you can tell who's who a little better, male, like if they're male or female.
Right.
But also, like, I know that you do the plushies. Like, let's go back. Not this one. Let's go back. Let's go back over here. I'm gonna push all the buttons. Sorry, everybody. Yes. And it's like, to accessorize the plushies, we need them to wear clothes.
Yeah.
And you've done you had 152 backers to show up for plushies. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was very happy with that in the kids book, so that was the very first plush one. It's funny because like that design was done by Megan Alferter, who is a friend of mine that I met at my first Comic-Con at Steel City, which is Monroeville, Pennsylvania. That's basically 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh.
Gotcha.
And she's a Pittsburgh native. Her and I have kept in touch. She's done covers for me. She did a pinup of the twin witches, kind of like in a nice lingerie. Actually, I probably could show you.
All right.
It's a little sexy, but it's nice sexy. It's not like...
We like spice. It's okay.
It's a little spicy, but not too spicy. Not a spicy meatball.
Not a too spicy. Okay.
So this is her pinup, and nice. She threw in that voodoo doll as a nice little touch that she came up with.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So everybody loved it. And
everybody's like, how do I get one of these, Rob?
Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So that was what this was for. It was the 5th anniversary of Nightwolf being released. I had 6 issues at the time. I was like, all right, well, not only am I going to do the plushie, I'm going to do like a connecting cover, limited edition. And so that people came and got both.
Yeah. How many did you end up ordering?
Of the limited editions or the plushies?
The plushies.
Of that voodoo doll, I ordered 500. Oh my God. And then so that spun off into the kids book. So I was like, okay, well, obviously it had its original origins in the Nightwolf, but if I wanted to sell this to kids, let's make a story around how this voodoo doll came about. And that's how like the Wolfpack pups were born. I figured, okay, I wanted to do like the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends thing that they do on Disney Junior for the kids, and introduce the kids young to my characters. So I reduced them in age, and they're like grade school characters. And so I have Nightwolf and Snowpaw as these grade school characters, and the Twin Witches are also in the story as their classmates who are jealous of their friendship. And the witches cast a spell, turning Nightwolf into this voodoo doll. And they walk off of him, leaving Snowpaw. You know, they stole the candy, they stole him, and left her on the sidewalk crying.
Aww.
And then so this, you know, the rest of the story is her saving him, and then kind of teaching a lesson of, you know, you can have more, you know, friends. You know, you can't, you know, don't be jealous. Everybody can be friends and all that stuff.
That's cool. This
so the moral of the story is
be friends. Yes, you can all be friends.
Yeah,
is this your daughter in the picture?
It is my daughter. Yes.
Ah, super cute. My kids love that too. They're like, "Can I be in your story?" I was like, "You don't want to be in my story."
No, right? Yeah. Well, that's
really
funny. She actually is in the book. Let me grab.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the book.
Yeah, this was another one of my questions, Lou. I'm going to ask him for sure.
I had Megan draw her in. So this is what she went as Kitty Fairy from Gabby's Dollhouse.
Yes,
Halloween one year.
I know what you're talking about because my kids watched Gabby's.
so we drew her in as that, and
cute. I know my kids are like, draw me in. I'm like, but nothing good happens in my story.
Yeah, no, my God,
I want to be in my story. So I was like, maybe later. But these are super cute, man. Now, okay, so what in your opinion was different? Because this is a different number, obviously, for the kids' book than the adult geared comic book, right? Mm-hmm. So how did your marketing change, and like how was it different? How was it the
goodness,
same?
It's so kids things on Kickstarter is tough.
Yeah,
because people on Kickstarter, they're buying for themselves, not for a kid that they have to then wait 6 months to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kids want that immediate gratification, so it was a bit of a struggle to get it there. But you know, whereas like with my comics, it was like, okay, first 4 or 5 days I'm funded, the rest of it is all unlocking stretch goals and stuff. This was I think I promoted these things harder. Like it was like going back to the beginning. Like, you know, first you're like, oh, I got to promote harder and harder and build that audience up, you know, because it is essentially like I'm building a new audience. And thankfully, Tyler James from Comics Tribe and Comics Launch, he has the C is for Cthulhu. And, you know, he allowed me to kind of do a little bit of a cross promotional deal with him. And basically I had offered like, you get a free enamel pin for backing if you are a Cthulhu fan or whatever, you know. Gotcha. So that helped. But I mean, again, it was like to the end. I mean, it was like down to the last day.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's just over the wire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was
all the plushes. So, like even the book was just over the wire. This plush for the Nightwolf was over the wire, and like same with the Snowpaw. I did her this past January during Backer Kit's pins and plushies event.
Yeah,
and that's why it's not on Kickstarter, but it's so it was my first time also doing a Backer Kit crowdfund, and it same difference. It was just over like at the end.
Isn't that funny? Like, and I've heard that like Tom Hutchinson has said that and stuff too, where it's just like you think your people will follow you, but if you're changing genres, you got to start from the beginning, and like these it's completely different, and like it'll build, people will come, but they're two different crowds. You know what I mean?
Even within the same similar genre, like
okay, all right, let's go back. Lou had this question. I also thought this. So when you get this delivery of 500 plush toys, what does it look like in your house?
My room fills up. It's so like my front room is basically empty because my wife turned it into a dance room.
Okay.
Because her and my daughter both do dance. My son also used to do dance, but he's grown out of it now. Just wants to do sports.
Yeah.
But during most of the year, it's empty for them to do dance. During fulfillment, it's full of tables and boxes and shipping and
You're
all.
Like, no dancing, plush toys only.
So I can only fulfill so many times a year. If it's during recital time, no touchy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, do you ever compete for the space? It's like, yeah.
Believe me, my wife is like, all right, get this out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll take me like a few weeks.
Get started, work overnight. I don't care what it takes.
Yeah,
get them out.
Yeah, so like during fulfillment time, I get tired and disappear for a while. But with so I do have a storage unit. Despite having a bunch of crap behind me, I actually have a storage unit full.
That makes sense. She was like, it would be full of plushies. I was like, do you ever just like open them all up and throw them in a room and let your daughter just be like, wee?
I keep them all boxed up like the way that when they come in, I leave them that way, put them in the storage unit until I need them.
Gosh, I know. See, and that's why I'm here, you guys, is because I literally I have stuff upstairs and I have stuff in the dining room and I have stuff it was in this closet and in that closet and like all my con stuff is somewhere else and it's just all over the freaking place. And I needed just one place. And so I gutted the guest room, and that's why we have a Murphy bed, which almost killed me. That putting that bed together almost killed me.
I wish I could have a more I have my office, but I wish I had a more dedicated room all the time, because it would just be so much easier to just be like, okay, hurry up, grab this, Before it was like I had things in the attic, I had things in this office, and like going up and down the stairs.
Yep.
Because my office is on the second floor, and then I have an attic. So carrying all those boxes and everything
up and then up again, and
down and down, and then back
label
up.
Label all and back down.
Oh yeah, having a storage unit is so much better. It's a monthly charge. You have to plan for it, but it's so much nicer than having to kill my back and my knees going up and down these steps with all these things. And my attic is in the middle, I can stand, but to the side, I'm like,
yeah. And I don't think you're a short guy. You don't look short to me.
So I'm not as tall as Tom, but my attic and my basement are not meant for me.
No. I wish we had a basement. We don't even have basements here in Texas, Rob. In Michigan, we had a basement. We moved to a house with no basement, and it is shocking how much crap you bring with you. You're like, where do I put this now if I don't have a basement?
It's sad too, because my basement cries. Legit, when it rains, the walls are just
weeping.
It's when you see those movies where it's you see the blood running around. That's almost exactly what it's like with
diet.
Yeah,
food coloring.
We have a trough this big around the outside that drains into our drain.
Yeah, I mean, turn the sump pump on and out it goes.
Oh, exactly. I cannot put anything that won't get if it's storageable down there, cool. But I can't put books down there. I can't put books.
No, no, they'll all be warped and
or moldy or yeah.
Oh God.
We have a dehumidifier running 24/7, but I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah.
Plus, our cats they eat and poop down there.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah. The basement's not a pleasant place.
No. It's good for storing Legos. That's about it. All your Legos downstairs.
Yes, there are a bit of my boys are all teens now, so between my old Legos that I gave to them, and then they're on top of that more Legos that they had collected throughout their lives, all the DC marbles. They're living down in the basement because those things can survive.
I tell you, man. And it's we got into the house and we moved everything in, and it was even now we're still trying to build storage where it's just where do we put this and where do we put that? And I have so many kitchen gadgets at this point where it's I need a whole nother set of cabinets. Can we build that over here, please? So that's our house goals, is just to continually build storage.
Well, my in-laws live out of town, and we keep joking, be you guys need to move back or have because they stay with us in my daughter's room when they come to visit. And I'm you guys just need to buy a getaway house next door so that I can put my storage in it.
Ha 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 ha. You're like, you can come spend the night at your own house, but then I'm going to take over the second floor.
Well, it's funny because my mother-in-law actually was considering it because she's like, how much do you pay with that storage unit a month? Because if that happens, believe me, I would be a happy
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. My in-laws actually moved into our neighborhood, and it's great. I love it that they're here. They don't let me store stuff at their house, however.
When they live there full time, I can understand that.
Yeah, they do. But it's still great because it's like you can see them in short time, like because when they come and they stay with you, it's like they stay for like 2 weeks, and at the end of it, I'm like, I love you, but you gotta go. You know, like we've had enough.
Yeah.
I love you.
I'm the one who's running the kids around and cooking. So on top of everything else, between my full-time job and the comic stuff, when my mother-in-law comes and does all the cooking and she'll run the kids around, I'm like, oh, it's like a vacation. I can get stuff done.
Yeah, and it's just like it's building your village. It's like having another set of hands. So same thing like today, like my daughter's at archery camp, but I have the show today, so she's going to go pick her up from archery camp and then again take the girls out and keep them occupied while I have my show and I have other stuff. So it's great. You need that support, and and as they get older, it'll be great for us too, where we're not driving an hour and a half to go, because it's like you shouldn't be moving your Christmas stuff into the attic by yourself anymore. Let us help you, So you can just go over and help them, and then life goes on. So all that stuff. You don't build storage, you purge. I get to that point too, Lou, where I look around and I'm like, I have had enough of this clutter. You guys decided to not put it away after I ashed it 12 times. I'm going to get a trash bag. It's amazing the fire that lights under the kids' butts when you're like, just pull out the trash bag and they're like, no, wait, Mom, wait.
No, please. I do it next time.
Right. Like, don't throw all my stuffies. Like, oh, it's going donation. Bye.
You don't play with this one. Yes, I do.
That's what happens though, where you're like, you haven't touched this in 3 years. They're like, oh, look, it's Mr. Stuffy. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hold on this for another 3 years. I'm like, you wait till you go to school and I'm donating him when you're gone. That's the fun time. All right, enough. We looked at some more shiny objects. So when are you planning to launch Snowpaw?
When Mog finishes. so Mog is still working on the pages, they're a little late because she was working on Kurt Zauer's book, Ruxy Vampire, and that it took longer than expected because they kept making changes and adding pages. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and then, her con schedule, she's like, she goes to cons very often. So she has to do pre-made commissions.
Yep.
So finally, like we agreed that like, okay, this needs to be done by the end of July. So I think she's in the second half. So it's a 24-page book. She started the roughs on page 18, but she's finalized 14. So she's in between working on 15 and 18 right now.
Gotcha.
And
not that much longer. She'll be
no, it should. So my intent is, if not launching by the end of the month, to do right at the beginning of August.
Gotcha. So right around the corner, you guys. So definitely sign up. There's 208 followers. I don't know if you guys saw that. And I just cannot. Okay. I just thought of my question of what I'm going to ask when I come on your show. Because I have the hardest time getting people to sign up for pre-launch. But does it matter? Does it matter? That'll be a good question for the show.
I mean, it is.
Yes and no, right?
I mean, I get usually a 30%, by the end of the campaign, the following number is whatever it is. And then 30% of those, which is average, I hear.
Still a good conversion rate.
Yeah. So that's usually on average is the 30% that come over.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I'm not sure whether it's like, fake followers or not at that point, because you only get so much, where people forget. I don't really know.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons. I just try not to bother myself with the why.
Yeah. I get this, Lou. I get it. I watch those videos on YouTube. But yeah, like I have fewer pre-launch followers, but my conversion rate is usually high, like 50%. So that's good. So where it's like, yeah, I'm not getting the casual people are like, oh, follow that and just shut Laurie up. But because I want the people to, obviously, if you're going to be here in the pre-launch, like come get it when it launches.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it's like, but to me, I think for me, if I focus on pre-launch and when that number is higher than I normally get, it tells me usually that I'm reaching new people because it's the new people that follow and want that, because the returning backers, they're always like, Laurie, I already know when you're going to launch because 1, I get that email. 2, you blast us in your email. And 3, I follow your social media and you tell us when you're going to launch and I'm already going to be there.
Yeah,
so
that's the other thing too, because like if somebody's backed you already,
yeah,
and follows this page, and is on your email list or your launch list,
there you go. They're getting 3 different emails.
Yeah. So I mean, I think so. When like this pre-launch thing first started, like I had numbers between like 350 and 400 paid followers before launching.
Yeah.
And I think now like a lot of my Wolfpack members are like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna get notified anyway,
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's like, Laurie, you start telling us 4 weeks before you launch what day and what time you're launching.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, who cares about the email?
Yeah,
I'm going to be at the launch party.
Before I officially plan on launching, I usually do like, 7 days, and then I do my little 7-day countdown socially.
Yep. Now, I have seen Fish do this, where Fish is like, I have pre-launch stretch goals. And so he's like, if we get 100, or I think he does it in increments of 50. He's like, if we get 50 pre-launch signups, I'll give everybody a bonus item when we launch. Like when you back, you get, and I think he has a time frame of it. Like you have to back in the first 24 hours or 48 hours.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense. But then they would get, these bonus items. So he has stuff for like 50 and 100 and 150, pre-launch followers. And I was like, that's cool. That could be a way to generate more pre-launch people. But I don't know. He's the only one I see doing that. I don't know if it's effective yet. If we all did it, maybe.
I mean, I think if like those all converted, that would be amazing. But if it was still 30%, then it's like
Fish, Mr. Fishley. There's only one Fish. Yeah. Do you need me to say his full name, Fishley? If you guys don't know who Fish is, you need to watch this show.
He's been on our show a couple of times too.
Yeah.
He gets around.
Been on here.
He swims through many, many podcasts.
He does. But again, it's like when you work from home, and he's one of those guys where I'm like, hey, my guest canceled. You want to hop on today? Sure. Because I know he's working from home. You know what I mean? So he's one of those people where I'm like, I don't got a guest. I need somebody. Come on the show, please. And he's like, you got it.
I mean, now, you know how before I had meetings during your show. Like that's another reason why it took forever. But my current, so I had recently in March, my company closed, and then another company bought it and rehired us all back. But yes, I know, right? Believe me, that was like 2 months of like panic.
Yeah, I was going to say the stress there. Ooh.
Yeah, so in April, I started working again, and I don't have that Tuesday meeting anymore. So and I work from home.
Exactly. Okay, you've just been added to my cancellation list. I have a few people where I'm like, hey, so you've been added to that list where I was like, hey, I don't have a guest. I'm gonna call up Rob.
Right. We should hang out more.
There you go. You're right. But I need that because, like we were saying before the show, we're booked out so far that people book the show, and then if they don't put it in their calendar, they forget. And then they're like, oh, yeah, that is this week. Oh, I'm going to be at the doctor's office, or just, stuff comes up.
Yeah. I made sure to put it on my calendar way back when we talked about this, because I was like, I am not missing this.
Thank you. I know it's hard when you wait for 6 months and then, gosh, I had someone else that was like really excited to be on the show and then had like a medical emergency. They're like, gosh, dang it. Finally here, and I can't come on. And I was like, well, you can just reschedule it, come back on. He's like, when? And I'm like, February. I'm sorry.
Sucks for you.
Yeah, I was like, but you'll be on eventually. And he's like, damn it. What can you do? So the book will be launching for Snowpaw, and then there's more Nightwolf coming.
Yes. So issue 11 for Nightwolf at this pace. Like I said, he just started. The second page just got finished, and it's off to the colorist, Gat Melvin. I'm anticipating a fall launch for Nightwolf 11.
Cool. And then is there more kids' books coming?
Well, first I want to sell through the stock of this and some of those plushies. So I got smarter and I only ordered 300 of the 2 characters because space.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, I do want to do more, but they need to sell more first.
Right, I hear you.
Because right now I'm already like dumping money into Nightwolf and Snowpaw.
Right.
Obviously I dumped a lot of money into those, but Nightwolf and Snowpaw kind of tend to pay for themselves.
Exactly.
Still working on paying for those.
Gotcha. So sometime in the future, when you sell some more, did you? Okay, here's another question. It's a board book, right? It's. Mm-hmm. Can I see it one more time? Yep. Yeah. Can you open it? Yeah, it's a board book. Yep, where do you get those printed? The same printer that you get comics printed at?
No, actually. So my floppies I do domestically through Color Vision, but my hardcovers are through China.
Gotcha.
And they're the same company.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I mean, the prices, despite, well, right now there's really no tariffs on books right now, but despite the shipping and all that, it's still better. So, as I'm doing like larger print runs, because, these things do very well at cons. And I don't want to reorder, like I already do large print runs of my floppies too. Whereas but I do larger print runs of the hardcovers and trades and stuff. Just because, I don't want to have to deal with all that shipping and all that stuff again.
Yeah. And I mean, like if you know that it's going to be a valid product for a long time, it's like, it makes sense to order it in bulk if you can afford the space and the money, because it's never going to be obsolete. Because I found that when I ordered issue 4s, and then I did a trade paperback, which is 1 through 4, I hardly ever move 4s. I learned I ordered too many 4s. Like I'll be selling those until I'm 92. You know what I mean? Because people are usually doing issue 1, maybe issue 1 and 2. Sometimes they want to do the whole thing at the con, like 1 through 6, because they want to pick out their variant covers.
Right. Yeah.
But most of the time they're just like, this is the trade, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's funny because it used to be more of the collecting, the covers. Now it's for new people. It's like at the cons. Like I think I sold more trades as I go. Like just that number keeps going up.
Yes.
Like like I was saying with Motor City Con. You had I sold a ton of trades, but I also sold a ton of variant covers. They love their comics there, and I love finding cons like that.
Yes, those are the best. And then you got to keep those on the list, man. I'm still figuring out the kind of Dallas scene. I haven't gone to enough to know where my crowd is. Like I did some library stuff and I was like, I definitely don't have enough kid stuff to keep going to the library. Cons, I sell a lot of hot sauce there, but it's like the kids are with adults and the adults are like, what are you doing here? Because I don't really have kid stuff. So I've been working on expanding my brand to kid related things, but it's like, you have to know where your crowd is. So if you find a good place that you resonate with that audience, it's like, you got to go to that one.
Yeah.
I want to show you something. This is going to be my, that's not it. Wait a minute. I was like, we've already seen that. Share screen. This is my post for today that I'm putting out there for my social media, but so I'm going to show people now because I think it's super funny. But I was like, where do I get a board book made? Now, this is not real, people. This is me photoshopping someone else's book, but I've had requests to do like Big James and Sad Pancake board book. And I was like, oh man. So now I know, like when I'm ready to do that, I'll just casually show up in Rob's DMs and be like, so can I have your contact, please? Because this would be funny.
That's hilarious.
So I'll be putting this out later, I'm sure, with something, music, just to make it extra. But yeah, the worst bear hug. And why is it that people want to hug Big James? That's my question to the fandom. You guys are weird.
Everybody just wants to hug a fuzzy critter.
I guess, but he's gonna eat your face. Like, he's not. Like, go hug Sad Pancake, and that's a good time. I mean, like, he's a smelly puppy, but at least he'll be friendly. Like, Big James does not want hugs. He just wants to take your face off and rearrange your body parts. Like, he's not a friendly man. Bear.
Have you ever watched Ghost on CBS?
Ghost? No.
Well, it's a show about a group of ghosts who died at different times that are stuck at this mansion with this living couple.
I've heard about it, yeah.
One of the characters was a hippie who hugged a bear, and that's how she died.
This is it. This is what I'm saying. Like,
Right?
don't hug the bears. And then it's like Dash Hooper and Kevin Davis that are always like, oh, he needs a hug. And I'm like, that's gross, you guys. I'm like, yeah, I was going to say, I've heard of that show. And this is why, because I was on Sarah's giant trivia show, and that was some of the trivia. And I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
You definitely need to catch
Sounds
up on it.
Ridiculous.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll have to watch
Hilarious.
it. So what cons are you having coming up soon, Rob, where people can come meet you in person?
So my next one is in a couple of weeks, which is another thing I need to try and get all my filming done so I can use my stuff to go to a con. August, it's not the first week in August, but the second week in August, Terrificon in Connecticut.
Okay. I've heard good things about that one.
I have too. It's my first time, but I'm very excited because I hear good thing. It's a comic-centric one.
Nice.
And so that's the next one. And then I think after that, I'm going back to Erie. That I didn't do it last year. I gave it a break because I wanted to wait till the second volume of Night Wolf came out, which now I have in hand. So I'm going to go back to Erie Comic-Con, or Comic-Con Erie, I think is actually what it is. And then after that is Akron Comic-Con in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the rest of this year for me. And then I got to start my list over again.
Gosh.
Because obviously October's out because, trip to Disney. I can't.
Right. Plus, no. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like, hi family, you have a good time in Disney. I'm going to be at this con. And you'd be like, we're disowning you.
You know what? Someday I ought to do, I ought to go to the MegaCon Orlando.
Yeah. There you go.
The next week. Just take 2 weeks off. It's fine.
But I mean, you can work it in as business travel and
right? Write it off.
Right. I mean, we can go to Disney on our downtime, but you can at least for your plane ticket, you could get there,
Mm-hmm. Right. Look, my question though is, how do I get my stuff there? I mean, I'm sure you've seen pictures of my setup.
And I mean, this is something that is terrifying to me as a newer creator, where I'm like, how do I, and I don't have nearly as much stuff as you do, where I'm just like, how do I get my stuff there? People go out of state.
Yeah, I drive.
Why?
Yeah. So I've driven, the farthest I've driven was Chattanooga, which was 12 hours. And then Boston was 10.
Yeah, wow.
And then I kind of gone in radiuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, going 18 hours to Orlando would be a rough drive. I've done that.
Would be a rough drive. Especially if the whole family is driving. You're like, it's okay, kids, we're gonna drive because in the trailer are all my stuff. And they're like, are we there yet?
My wife would be like, we'll see you there.
Yeah, she's like, we're flying. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. This year will be the furthest that I will be going to go to a con, because I'm in Dallas area. There's a ton of cons in Dallas and Fort Worth and Frisco and Irving, and I'm close to Oklahoma, so I'll go north to Oklahoma. It's an hour and a half. Those I think are still doable in a day, right? But I'm gonna be traveling to Seguin, Texas, which is closer to San Antonio, and so that's a 5-hour hike for me. So that's the furthest I have ever gone for a Comic-Con.
Oh, so that's chump change.
I know. It's you're like, that's so cute, Laurie. And I'm just like, that's a big deal to me. I haven't done it before, so we'll see how that goes.
Boston. So I went to Baltimore. So going back to my first couple cons. I did obviously the one in Pittsburgh-ish.
Yeah.
That was my first one. But then the next one was like, I went to Boston, which was, like I said, the 10-hour drive. So I ripped that Band-Aid off. And then Baltimore, which is 6 hours. So it was like going far and then getting a little less.
Yeah. Well, I convinced my husband to go with me to this one again, but this will be his very first con that he'll be with me. So I almost feel like he needs to come to one of the closer ones. Maybe I can convince him to go with me I'm doing a 1-day show on August 3rd. So maybe I need to convince him to come with me just so he can see like the unloading, the setup, the how you work a table and then tear down and because otherwise I'm throwing him into a 3-day big ass Comic-Con where he might divorce me on the way home. Like, I'm never doing this again, just because he's never done it before to know, like, but he's jumping in feet first into the deep end where I'm like, it's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday con, and Friday goes to 11 p.m. It's going to be a long day.
Yeah. So, those are long ones.
You're nuts.
My wife only comes to select ones. Like, she'll come to Motor City with me because she likes. There's places she likes food to eat there, and then like Baltimore is another one that she likes. For food areas.
That's key.
But right? Exactly, yeah. But when she goes, it's a little bit more expensive because she wants to go to not fast food. Whereas my usual con helper is our friend April, and she usually comes with me, and then we go to we usually try to be reasonable about food prices and stuff, and she has less expensive taste than my wife.
Well, your wife is like seeing it as a semi-vacation.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
She'll sit. She'll watch the table when I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. But like, typically she's back there reading a book, or she'll go walk the shop.
Yeah. Well, I want to train my husband how to do my point of sale on my phone.
That is key.
Because then I can close a sale, move them to my husband, and then move on to the next person, and hopefully sell more. Because that is, I think, the biggest challenge I have. Is I'm so personable and I want to continue talking to you, and someone's there looking at the stuff, and I'm like, I'll be right with you, but they might walk away before I get a chance to close the sale. So
that is definitely key, and my wife is good about that, but April was better.
Yeah.
Plus, my wife is, I would say, nerd adjacent, whereas like April can speak more.
Yeah. And that's why I have to tell my husband, I'll be like, you don't have to pitch the story. I will do all of that. Like, you just smile and be friendly and take their money. How about that? Sound good?
Okay, with the monies.
Right. I was like, you just make sure that you get the monies before they leave with the things. Thanks. I was like, I'll show you how to push all the buttons. So, my friends, I can't believe an hour and 43 minutes have flown by. I love this show, man. That's just how it goes. So, as a reminder, here we are on Path of the Pale Rider that is live. We are closing in on our first stretch goal. We're not even a week in, guys, and we're going to be breaking stretch goals, which is awesome. I love doing the PDF bundle because that means everybody gets to participate. I've switched out a few of these. I like to switch them out because we get people that come in back every campaign and want to make sure there's something new for them every time. And so there's 15 additional comics that you can get for free just by participating in the Kickstarter. And that's one of the things that I'm going to make a reel about this. I swear to God, Rob, when people are like, you have a Kickstarter, great. I'll get a copy of it when it's over. And it's like, you're missing out on all the cool stuff that you get for free, right? Where it's like the PDFs, and I don't know if people have seen all the stretch goals if they scroll that far, but scratch and sniff stickers of sad pancake that's going to smell like maple syrup. We have the slice and dice, of course, where you get to name a fruit or vegetable and choose the weapon of destruction. I dress up as Pikachu and kill the thing. Here on the Tuesday morning brew, it's a good time. We have gummies coming, gummies that you can eat. I will have squishies that you can't eat, so stay tuned for those. We have Big James magnets. We have new art of Lola the Bandita that will blow your face off. We have coffee that I will roast for you And you can have a cup of coffee with me here on the Tuesday Morning Brew a la Laurie Calcaterra. And thank you to Lou Pons, who helped name it Zombeans, because it's hilarious. Hey, I know, Pity Ma. I saw you come in. I was like, oh, yeah, she's here. I was like, but those sad pancakes. Now, let me show you guys. They're up here. The sad pancakes went in the first, 10 minutes. They were gone. It claimed. So all of these went. There was 4 of them. And everybody was gunning for them. So they went. Like the mug got claimed, the rebound book got claimed. I will have more things for you guys, I promise. You can still scentify your cover. You can upgrade any of your covers, Rob, to be scratch and sniff. Because I think it's hilarious. So make sure you go check it out and support indie. We love what we do. You can tell by listening to our conversation. We're passionate about creating comics. We're passionate about our stories. And this is really the best place and the most important time for us as creators. So any place that you would like people to follow you, Rob, social media, website, what are you thinking?
Yeah. So I'm all over social media at Lone Wolf Comics. So you can Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, all, at Lone Wolf Comics. If it's a social, I probably have it. I may not post all there all the time, but yeah, definitely on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram very often. I am also at Rob Multari if you want to get more personal with myself.
Not too personal, people.
Yes, my wife might not like that. And then you can go to lonewolfcomics.com. I have an online shop there. You can learn about the characters. You can learn about my mythology there. And you can, get the past issues there. Or you can go to snowpod.lonewolfcomics.com. That'll take you to that very long Kickstarter link right there.
My link is that way too, and I'm just like, geez,
right. So you can follow the pre-launch page for Snowpaw issues 1 through 4. This is the end of this story arc before starting a new one. So this is a great jumping on point. You can get the whole thing.
That's cool. And I'm so jealous when people are like, ooh, you get to binge read. So excited for you. So definitely come sign up for this. All this does, everybody, is, if you're not familiar, is when you click this button, it just sends you an email when it launches. So then you can go take a look around at the live campaign and pick which tier works best for you. So you're not giving away any dollars or information with this. You're just signing up to be emailed, which is cool. So, and that, my friends, is the show. Next week we have it's Leighton Cobb, or I think he goes by CL Zeno here on, I forget which way he goes. He's got 2 names, but it's the same person. We have one guy with 2 personalities. No, just kidding. But he does the series called Drunk Mom, which is hilarious and poignant and will make you think. And he'll be back catching up on the show. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he's doing. And remember to be excellent to each other. Kiss your babies. And join us next week here on the Tuesday Morning Brew so I can drink your tears when you get issue 7. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye. I will push the button. I'll